With the 144th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, Tom Brady, he's an all-time great. Being able to have that resource, being able to have that person I'm able to talk to and call whenever I'm having questions about the game. And he's able to relate to it because he did it at the highest level. It's truly amazing.
What in the world is really going down in these NFL draft streets? Because Shedeur Sanders' draft saga, it's been straight up madness. And nah, we're not just talking about him sliding all the way to the 5th round, 144th overall, by the Cleveland Browns.
That they were going to embarrass, humiliate, and sabotage both Deion Sanders and his son, Shedeur Sanders, on draft day.
That was just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, there's talk of serious scheming. Word on the street is that Tom Brady was allegedly moving slick with NFL execs and team owners, plotting to keep Shedeur out of the top spots. And here's the wildest part. Shedeur actually trained with Tom before all this. Like, how you gonna coach someone up, hype them like they next in line, and then allegedly help block their shine from the inside? That's cold.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a problem within buildings, and like this idea that it's like, oh, he's a diva, and that's what I think there's zero iota of truth in that.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over. So it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too.
The betrayal? It's loud! But hold up, it gets even messier. Tom Brady finally broke his silence and gave his side of the story. And let's just say, it ain't giving role model mentor vibes at all. This ain't the clean-cut Brady some folks were trying to paint.
Yet I'm sure NFL execs and coaches seethe and they curse when they read or they hear that Deion will be the next great NFL coach. I'm sure that deep down they fear he will be, maybe even taking over their organization.
His comments threw a whole new spotlight on the situation. I got all the receipts, and it's not looking good. Shedeur was hyped up for months, no cap. Folks had him locked in as a late first rounder, maybe second, but for sure a top-tier pick. Despite all the drama around Colorado's season, nobody could ignore his raw skills on the field. The man was ballin'. So what really went down? 'Cause that phone stayed silent for way too long, and when it finally rang, it was for pick 144 in round 5. You could feel the disappointment in the air. And just when you thought it couldn't get more disrespectful, somebody actually prank called him, pretending it was a draft team on the line.
Is this Shedeur? This is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing?
But if you're Kevin Stefanski and you're that coaching staff and you're already on this white hot seat, now you're thinking about, okay, we have Shedeur Sanders, we have Travis Hunter. We start next year 1-5. The fan base is going to be in front of the stadium with pitchforks demanding that we be fired and that they start talking to Coach Prime.
Who does that? That's next level foul. Now here's where things start heating all the way up. Folks didn't waste a second before throwing side eyes straight at Tom Brady. And why? Because not only did Tom train with Shadeur before the draft, but he was also allegedly deep in the mix, giving advice to NFL execs and owners. Word is, he might have been sitting at the very table where Shadeur's draft fate got sealed. Think about that. You're working out with a legend, thinking you're building with him. And next thing you know, he's possibly whispering behind closed doors, shaping the very system that passed you up. That's a whole chess move, not checkers. And if you know Skip Bayless, you already know he rides hard for Brady. Like, that man's practically the president of the Tom Brady fan club. So when even Skip hopped online and tweeted, how could Tom Brady's team pass on Shedeur again and again and again? Brady reportedly coached Shedeur. Brady reportedly was involved in the Raiders' draft decisions.
I believe that all 32 NFL team owners and their executives and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. I believe they all came together in a KK Ku Klux Klan type of clandestine meeting, and they decided, allegedly, I believe, that they were going to embarrass, humiliate, and sabotage both Deion Sanders and his son, Shedeur Sanders, on draft day.
You knew it was serious. That tweet hit like a grenade. If Brady's own biggest hype man is questioning him, then yeah, something ain't sitting right. The internet ran wild with it. People started saying maybe that training session wasn't mentorship. It was a scouting mission. Some are even saying Tom might have used it to judge Shedeur, then quietly gave NFL teams the green light to pass. Messy? Absolutely. Impossible? Not really. But there's more. Shedeur's got a rep that's following him around. And it ain't all good. Behind the scenes, insiders say teams were turned off by his attitude during pre-draft interviews. Word is, 3 teams completely crossed him off their draft boards just off how he came across. Not because of talent, but because of how he carried himself. And here's the kicker. If he was playing any other position, this probably wouldn't even be a thing. But as a quarterback, you're expected to be a leader. Calm, humble, a locker room general. Reports say guys like Cam Ward and Jalen Milroe gave off that respectful, team-first vibe. Meanwhile, Shedeur? They said he was giving off diva energy. And let's keep it real. The NFL still plays by old-school rules. They don't always care about flash. They want discipline. So when a young QB walks in too confident, that can rub them the wrong way real fast. They don't care how many followers you're rocking with. These NFL folks want a face of the franchise, somebody polished, someone they can slap on billboards, press conferences, and TV interviews without breaking a sweat. Now this next part, it's all speculation. But let's be real, it kind of adds up. Some fans are swearing Tom Brady wasn't just mentoring Shedeur, he was low-key scouting the competition. Let's be honest here, Shedeur's got that factor. The arm, fire, the presence, unshakable, the charisma, off the charts. If he landed on the right squad with solid development, it wouldn't be a stretch to see him rack up Super Bowl rings and start knocking on that GOAT convo door. So now folks are asking, was Tom nervous? Did he pull some quiet strings behind the scenes to protect his legacy? Because let's say Shadeur came out swinging, breaking records, snatching MVPs, stacking rings left and right, Brady's crown would start looking shaky. And don't forget, Tom ain't just retired and chilling. He's deep in the boardrooms now. He's got stakes in teams. He's got influence. All it'd take is one little conversation in the right ear during those draft meetings. And boom, Shedeur slides down the board. And look, I'm not saying it's fact, but this is what's moving heavy in the internet streets right now. And here's another layer. Word is, some NFL coaches felt like Deion Sanders was threatening their positions. That's the real tea. Think about it. Coach Prime walked in loud, confident, unapologetic, and he backed it up. When Shedeur transferred from Jackson State to Colorado, Deion immediately named him the starting QB.
Why not? I mean, it's a 5th-round pick, so you're not really risking anything to draft him, and you can have him on your roster, try him out. If he works, he works. If he doesn't, it doesn't.
I think we need to give him a chance. I do.
But I'm glad he came to us. Yeah. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see him play this season.
I think they're going to want to see whether or not that ego that people were talking about is something that they're going to have to concern themselves with. And unfortunately, I think they're going to test them. And that's why I think he's going to be prevented from starting week 1. Not because he won't deserve it. I just think they're going to test him.
No politics, no competition. It was a done deal from day one. That move, it sent a clear message. Deion's running things his own way, and Shedeur's not here to play nice. And for the old school NFL heads who like things done by the book, that shook the table. Now picture this. You're an NFL head coach, sitting pretty with your job locked down, and here comes Deion Sanders. Charisma on 10. Media trained, respected like a legend. and he's already proven he can flip a whole college program around just like that. Suddenly you're thinking, wait, if I draft Shedeur, am I also bringing his dad with him? And that's where it gets dicey. Because the next thought, if Deion steps into my locker room, how long before the team's owners start wondering if he should have my job? That right there is why people are saying the NFL might have blackballed Shedeur. Not just to keep him off the field, but to keep Deion far away from those sideline power moves. Teams weren't just hesitant to draft Shedeur because of his game. They didn't want that Coach Prime effect shaking up the hierarchy. And look, even Skip Bayless brought this up on air. He said what a lot of fans were already shouting across social media. Observers, analysts, and regular folks, they were all connecting the dots. Some of the online comments really hit deep. They were just afraid of Deion coming after their jobs in 2 years. Shedeur was hungry to play ball, not chasing money, just trying to feed his family. Like so many black athletes, they couldn't control him. He was built for this by his father, not groomed by the NFL machine. This is jealousy and power plays. Another fan echoed that same sentiment. Agreed, Skip. But let's keep it real. The blackballing came from coaches, GMS, and front office folks scared of being replaced by Deion and whoever he'd bring with him. So when you zoom out and look at the whole picture, it's clear. It wasn't just about Shedeur's stats or draft projection. This ran deeper. It was about control, influence, and protecting that old-school NFL power structure. Now sure, not everyone's riding the conspiracy train. A few voices are still pushing back. Some fans believe Tom Brady might not have had anything to do with it, or at least not directly. One commenter broke it down with some much-needed behind-the-scenes context. The coach doesn't draft, the GM does. Both work for the owner, and guess what? Tom Brady is one of the owners. Hope that helps. Sure, technically, the general manager and owners make the final call on draft day. And yeah, Tom Brady's not just a bystander. He's officially one of the minority owners now, which just adds another layer of smoke to this fire. But let's pause for a second, and because I know some folks are probably thinking, well, at least Shedeur got picked, right? Like that's supposed to be a win. Nah, wrong. Because once you start really peeling this thing back, that blessing might just be a trap in disguise. Let me put y'all on real quick. See, there's history between Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, and it ain't sweet. Back in 2018, Coach Prime jumped on Twitter and made his feelings crystal clear. He said, word for word, "I love what the Browns have done this offseason, but if I'm a young QB, ain't no way I'm going to Cleveland. I would pull an Eli Manning if possible." Yo, that's not just shade, that's full-blown eclipse. Deion basically said he'd tell any young quarterback to dodge Cleveland like it's cursed. And just to twist the knife, he name-dropped Eli Manning, who famously refused to play for the Chargers after being drafted. That's legend-level shade. Now fast forward to today, and Shedeur ends up exactly where Deion told young QBs not to go. Cleveland? Come on, make it make sense. Especially since Brady and the front office definitely knew about that old tweet. It wasn't buried. It's been floating around for years. So was this pick a blessing or a setup? Because let's be honest, Cleveland fans haven't exactly been sending love letters to Shedeur Sanders. They remember what he said, and they don't forget. These fans are loyal and petty. They live for grudges. Best believe when Shedeur hits that field, he's not just battling defenses. He's stepping into a storm of boos, cold shoulders, and side eyes from a fan base that might already be dead set against him. And not even because of him, but because of who his dad is. Now let's talk game time, because just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, it does. Plot twist, the Browns' main quarterback, Deshaun Watson, is out for the entire season due to injury. So of course, everyone starts buzzing. This is it! Deion's moment to shine through Shedeur. It's time for the Cinderella story. But hold up, it might not go down like that at all. Cause word on the street, there's an alleged plan that's way darker. People are whispering that Shadeur is not being brought in to shine, but to flop. Yeah, you heard that right. The theory is that the Browns are going to throw him out on the field, let him drown under pressure, and have him get booed out the stadium, while Coach Prime watches it all go down from the sidelines, powerless to stop it. That's the conspiracy that's been floating heavy out there. And if they don't start him, it still ain't sweet. They might toss him into a full-blown QB Hunger Games, forced to battle for a spot with 4 other quarterbacks. Let's break down that quarterback room real quick. Dylan Gabriel, fresh from Oregon, taken in the 3rd round. Joe Flacco, the seasoned vet still hanging around like that ex who just won't go away. Kenny Pickett, just rolled in from Pittsburgh trying to bounce back and find his rhythm. And now, Shedeur Sanders. That's 5 quarterbacks on one roster? Like, what are we even doing? And trust, Twitter caught it immediately. Browns selected 2 QBs in this draft and now got 5 on the roster. This team is a disaster. The chaos is real, and it's starting to look like Shadeur, despite all his raw talent and potential, was set up to fail from the jump. Even Dr. Umar couldn't sit this one out. He stepped in and brought the full heat, throwing the race card right on the table. According to him, this wasn't just some random series of bad breaks. He claims this was an organized move, a calculated takedown, with race at the core of it. Dr. Umar said NFL owners, including Commissioner Roger Goodell, allegedly teamed up with one goal: humiliate and sabotage Shedeur Sanders, not just as a rising black quarterback, but as the son of one of the most unapologetically black coaches in the entire game. Now look, I'm not saying I co-sign everything that's been said, but after watching how all this is unfolding, these so-called conspiracy theories are starting to look a little too clean, too organized, too precise, like something ain't adding up. Especially when you got folks like Skip Bayless straight up throwing shade at Tom Brady, calling him out like he's the mastermind behind Shedeur Sanders' whole draft day disaster. And of course, Tom had to clap back. Or at least kinda. According to Russ Weekland from the Daily Mail, Tom allegedly told people close to him that Skip is, and I quote, an idiot for blaming him for Shadeur's downfall. Yeah, that's what the source spilled. Tom thinks that Skip Bayless is an idiot for thinking he had anything to do with Shadeur's draft slide. But that ain't where it ends. The insider made it clear. Brady barely has pull when it comes to Raiders' draft decisions. They said, Tom has limited say in what players the Raiders pick or sign. Pete Carroll and Mark Davis have the final say on everything. So sure, Tom might get asked for his opinion, but according to this insider, that's all it is. Advice. No real power. No secret button he can press to block a player. Basically, Brady's saying, don't drag my name through the mud. I'm not the villain here. But let's be honest. After everything that's gone down, after all the whispers, the skipped calls, the last-minute draft drops, and the media storm, all arrows are still aiming at Tom Brady and the suits moving pieces behind the curtain. And that leaves us staring at one hard truth. Shedeur Sanders is looking more and more like a pawn in a bigger game than we realized. A game full of legacy protection, media power plays, and gatekeeping in the NFL. So now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you think Shedeur Sanders was set up to fail? Was Tom Brady really innocent, or just real slick at hiding his moves? And is Coach Prime's presence shaking the whole system up behind the scenes? Let me know below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. This saga's far from over. See you on the next one.